It's me talking. Better check that I can be heard. Get this thing rolling. When I say go live, I press go live now, so now it's all happening. Am I ready? No, not exactly. Not completely, but hi, you're with Scott. I'm Super Chuffer. It's midnight. It's always midnight. This is your right ear and your left ear. What are we doing today? What are we doing today? Oh, I better throw out a quick tweet about it, actually, hadn't I? Should I quickly tweet one out? Should I quickly squeeze out a tweet? Should I quickly pop a tweet out? That's a strange image, but... So, in fact, I'm using the wrong image. Hang on. Let me just change the picture to something that's more appropriate, which is mental health. Yeah, mental health. I'm just going to squeeze out a quick tweet with me on the old picture, like this. There we go. And then I'm going to do a picture and a tweet. You're here, you're in the room, filling up. What we're going to do today is, this is just a short stream, because someone sent me a message on one of the messenger systems, and I can't do two things at once with my brain. Screenshots. Find the screenshot I just took. And they mentioned they were having a bit of a struggle with mental health or what have you. So I thought we'd talk about it. So this is kind of specifically for someone, but it's also a general one. So you can all benefit from it. We can all have a bit of a chat about it. That's the plan today. I've got some specific things we're going to do. We're going to do an NHS self-assessment. That's going to be interesting. So it's a bit of a quiz as well, a bit of a quiz. So let's just copy this, close this, paste this. All right, doing a bit about mental health on the B-side stream live now. And then that's that. Tweet that. Okay. If anyone wants to ask any questions, feel free. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're asking questions, maybe this video is about you. That's not. Don't worry. You're all free to ask whatever questions you want at any time. We're going to be talking about mental health. We're going to be talking about information support. We're going to be talking about self-assessment. This is the Samaritans. If you're feeling at crisis point right now, 116123 for free. If you've tuned into this and it sets something off and you feel like, oh God, I just really need to talk to someone and chat isn't doing it, then 116123 for free. Hello in chat to all the names. I'm not going to read all your names out today because, like I said, if this feels too pertinent to someone specific, I don't want to feel that they're having their finger pointed at them on the internet and everyone doxing them and all this. But at the same time, you should all feel free that you can come forward and talk about this stuff and no one has to feel bad in public. There's no stigma to this. So but that's up to whoever feels what they want to talk about, whatever. I've certainly been through mental health struggles. I'll absolutely say that. So there's a couple of little bits. How do I start this? So the message generally was sent to me about losing energy, not having a focus on, not being able to want to get out of bed and attack life, feeling numb, feeling like a mental health issue is on the cards, so to speak. Sorry, excuse me, I'm just also skinning up now. So that's where we're coming from here. So I'm going to be doing it like, it's not like some of you in chat might also have perspectives from, how do I explain this? We've all got different perspectives. So this is sort of coming from the perspective of someone who's a bit worried they might be slipping down the wrong path or the dark path, rather than they're having a huge crisis right now. This is not like somebody hasn't messaged me and said something really specific has happened and it's really hurting. Like, it's more of a general worried about my slipping down the mental health path. That's the general gist. Hello everyone in chat. Hello all you good chuffers. So this is going to hopefully help somebody specific. And the first thing because I've got to just skin up first. The first thing I'd say is that talking's the best thing. So whoever this specific person is, they have talked to me, and that's been good. Well done. Like, the fact that you can see it in yourself, you can recognise these feelings, you can have some perspective on it in your own self, and at least reach out, whether it be me, it's difficult on the internet because, like, if I reached out to my favourite streamer, they might not be able to make this video, they might be busy or whatever, but so that's why I always encourage people to reach out to people close to them as well, like your social ties that are close to your family, your friends. Sometimes that's difficult I understand sometimes it's easier to talk to a stranger. So even, you know, someone you don't know that well, maybe someone you know, see at the cafe or, you know, at the pub, it can be good just to talk to somebody and get things out. These people might not all be mental health professionals. So whilst they're good sounding boards, and it's good to be able to, like, just the act of socialising is good. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But it is important, some of the advice I give today is going to be a bit more specific, and it's important to note that whilst you're going to look for help by socialising is part of your mental health support network, but not everyone is trained as a mental health professional, so they might not give you the best advice. It might not be that they are able to fix everything for you, but simply the act of sharing and the act of talking about stuff is really good. Like the fact that you're doing it, the fact you recognise it. I remember at my lowest ebb, it's not about me, but you know, for many of us, our lowest ebb, it involved me like being sat on the floor and crying and stuff, and I had to pick myself up, you know. I had to say to myself, am I going to spend another 10 minutes sat on the floor crying? Like, I wanted to in a way, but you know, at some point you have to, like, you know, decide to make a change. And the fact that, why can't you send me a super chat, Brett? There's no super chats on this channel. I haven't set up the monetization setup like that yet. I hear on the B side. This is like, if you want to tip me, I will do the coffee.com thing, but I hadn't considered the financial aspect of today's stream. I'm just doing this particularly because someone sent me a message, and rather than, the problem I've got is like I could write a long message and it'd take me forever, but it's easier if I just talk and then we can all share in the bonus advice here. So so that's the coffee.com link if you want to follow that, but there's no super chats on this channel. Just save it up and give me some other time if you want, or donate it to a mental health charity today maybe. Yeah, so I've got some really pointed advice, some really good advice. A lot of the stuff I've done about mental health is on this channel called Mental Health Monday. All the links are in the description below today. Mental Health Monday was a year's worth of talking about mental health every Monday, so there's a lot of different stuff there. I will pick out a couple here. How to recognise a mental health crisis, #breakdown. How to deal with a mental health crisis, #breakdown. If you're worried you might be on a slippy slope, or you're worried you might be facing a certain way mentally or something, these are two good videos, because before you get to a crisis, or someone you know, or anyone else, this is always good. These videos can help you to prepare and to think about, you know, what might be signals of that. So I think they're good videos. If you are having a crisis, an hour-long video on mental health crisis probably won't be the thing you want to watch at the very time, which is why at the start of that I say, you know, Samaritans, Lifeline in America is 988. The Samaritans in the UK is 116-123, and it costs nothing. So they're just helplines you can just call anytime, non-judgmental, no one's going to get their egg on, you just talk, it helps. So that's always available. But, you know, if you're prepared to think about these things, because the person that was talking to me was not at crisis point, I didn't feel, so these are good videos. And then the other stuff around here, there's other stuff that can supplement, complement what I'm talking about today. And maybe, I don't know which video it is for each individual person, but there's one there about panic attacks specifically. There's one here about anxiety specifically. There's an eating disorders video. There's something about how to get out of bed, for Christ's sake. There's all sorts of different aspects to mental health. So I've done lots of different hour-long videos, you know, lots of different ones. So I'm sure there's something here. And if you're on that train of thought, just going through a few of these and having a watch of a few of these can really cover some different areas that I might not be able to cover today necessarily, I suppose. But yeah, so there's a lot there, but I will be covering it today. So I've made a couple of notes. So first of all, we've discussed the first bit, talking is good. We talk about it today in chat. You're talking to each other in chat now, and I'm here talking to you, but this is the internet. So I always think talking to real people is good. And like I said, it's difficult because not everyone's going to be able, like, someone who will just listen, like, you know who the best people are in your life to listen to and talk to. Some of them might always answer you back and give you advice, like, oh, I'm feeling this, oh, I remember when I was feeling this, and okay, that's not going to help, or you should do this, and why don't you just feel better, or like, so some people aren't the easiest to help with this, but some people are better at this. Some, you know, so you have to find your own way with that. But talking is good, reaching out is good. There's no stigma attached to this, there's no shame attached to this. Like, finding life difficult, and I actually think life is shocking and harsh, and you know, I was going to say this later, but look at how we cover the murders of Nicola Bulley and stuff like that. You know, look at how much media's on the TV and you see, and how harsh and violent, and you know, there are a lot of things in life that rock us, like, mentally, and it is a correct response to feel anxious or worried. Sometimes it is a correct response to feel down or depressed or not want to feel it or look away, or, you know, when personal things hurt us, to not want to feel them or find it difficult to process them. Like, this is natural. So to think that you're feeling this isn't a shock and a worry, oh my God, what's going wrong with me? It's quite normal, it's quite natural, it's a human response. And getting to the core of why we're responding like that, I think with depression and mental health, sometimes if we don't find out what's going on, then it can amplify and get out of control, and the response can become it can become too much. Maybe our response is not quite correct, and we lose perspective and get confused, and our responses become more and more amplified. So there are ways to correct that. There are ways to think about our responses. But first of all, I'd like to just say it is natural to feel this stuff, or not feel this stuff, or go through these issues, because life is like this. So there's nothing wrong with saying you feel it. I mean, recently we've had some really notable public figures, like Tyson Fury's a good example, isn't it, of people who, you know, like Tyson Fury's a good example because he's a great big chuffing fella, and it's not about whether you're a big strong man or this and that. It's mental health, and everyone can suffer with it. So yeah, I think it's okay for anyone to be. There was someone said it in chat there, it's okay to not be okay. Exactly. But I tell you what's not okay is to not be okay for extended periods of time and just live like that. I think it's okay to become not okay, but then we've got to try and work through it and get somewhere with it. So like I say, Mental Health Monday, if you're, you know, I'm not feeling quite up to this, I'm just feeling a bit, need a bit more, you know, there's a lot more there, but specifics we're going to get into today, because at the start of this journey, and it might not be, I want to say this as well, it might not be that whoever I'm talking to or whoever out there, it might not be that serious for some people. Some people might feel down one week, get the blues or whatever, and then, you know, come through it. And that's good, you know, that's good. But for others, it might be they feel the same, they get the blues one week, but it doesn't stop and it carries on for another week, and then it starts feeling worse. And so where do we determine where depression is and where someone's just feeling a bit down, or, you know, and I'm not discounting just feeling a bit down either. That's okay too, but I'm more, like, I've got to be careful. I'm on the internet. I can't diagnose someone with depression, and I don't want you to watch this video and think, right, I watched this and Scott said that I've got like clinical depression and now I need to take tablets and I need to be sectioned, or, you know, it's not that. You know, we're all on a spectrum of this somewhere at all times, I think. So just finding your own way in this is important. So I've got to be careful not to put ideas in your head, but to allow you to explore ideas yourself and find your way in this. So talking is good, and that's the best way to do that, because it helps you to verbalise your ideas. Right now you're listening to me, but when you talk to people that will help you to listen, will help be good listeners, then you can get your ideas out and really start to think, you know, your words through. So I think that really helps. The next one I would say is a doctor's appointment. We're going to do the NHS self-assessment quiz today. So we'll do that together today. The next one I would say is a doctor's appointment, because if you had a shoulder's pain's a funny one because of heart attacks, isn't it? If you had I don't know, like a pain in your hand, like your hand kept getting pain, and like it's not terrible, it's not the worst, but you feel it could get worse if you don't. I mean, you don't really know you might go to the doctor. Just ask some questions. You don't have to be given like antibiotics for the head immediately, like injected in your head. But you might ask some questions. With the mental health and the doctors, it can take a little bit of time sometimes to get the appointment, to follow it up, to be directed towards a good resource, someone to talk to. With the mental health support in the UK, sometimes it can even take months to get to see it. Like if you want to see a counsellor and you end up having, you know, a more serious journey with this, then that can take months to get to do that. So it's really important that if you're feeling, not sure, but, you know, feeling enough to contact me, to reach out to your friends, also get that doctor's appointment, because it doesn't have to be that on the day everything is fixed or big things happen, but it puts you on the system. It puts you on that, you know, I'm now on the waiting list. I now want to talk to somebody a little bit further in the mental health department. Please set me up with that. And they can give you a wealth of different options. And it might be that maybe someone's finding it difficult to sleep, or someone's finding it difficult to deal with a certain issue or something like that. Maybe short-term medication might be a help. Like I certainly found I was given a sleeping tablet at one point, and it did help me to get my routine back, and then I stopped taking it. So little things like that. And then the other one is that certain medications in the long term can actually, I found mirtazapine was a good balancing one for me. It stopped me feeling like I was staring into the void sometimes. So I'm coming off that now myself, but there were other antidepressant medications that I was offered through my journey that I didn't vibe with and didn't want to take. So if I'd have just gone to the doctor once and then, or not gone to the doctor early enough, I wouldn't have been on that journey to get to the right answer. So sometimes the doctor can be maybe hit and miss, but it's important to get on that list, get on that system. And if you get a good doctor who will give you a bit of time and talk to you, then just the conversation with the doctor can really help. You know, someone you can trust in an environment where you can speak your mind, where you know no one's going to judge you. That's a good place. So even if it's the doctor to start with, I think that's a good start. The next one on my list is stop yourself slipping. So that's really hard to do, but you're doing it now. Like I said at the start, when I was at my worst, I needed 10 minutes. I needed 10 minutes not feeling depressed. So I just had to get up off the floor and just sort of like switch on the telly, or I could feel it in my stomach almost as well. I had to walk outside, or I just needed 10 minutes to not feel depressed, to not feel this, so that I could just have a mental break from my own anguish. And then once I found I got that 10 minutes and I went back to the depression, I needed 20. That if you can string together 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then you can string together 20 if you're at your worst, rather than giving into it and feeling and this is where we talk about these awful things like suicide. Stop yourself slipping. When you feel yourself slipping, if you're at crisis point, we've talked about that, but if you're not quite at crisis point, if you're on the way downhill somewhere, there are other ways to slip, aren't there, like drinking and other stuff. Stop yourself slipping. You've seen it, you've recognized it. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to say, right, I'm just going to make myself feel better, but you can stop yourself slipping and say, for me, I think the best advice here is to change your even if it's getting up and going out the room or going for a walk. We talk about the cognitive triangle. This is not simple advice, but it is in a way. This is a top tip, because you have to, I believe this most of all, that you have all the advice, all the help, all the whatever. Sometimes you're on your own with it. A lot of the time, it's you and your feelings, and you've got to be able to grab hold of yourself by the scruff of the neck. Sometimes it's so difficult to suggest in a way, but the cognitive triangle. And it's hard to stop yourself slipping, so this takes practice, I think. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviour are all connected. This is really simple stuff, but it kind of works. So if I'm feeling really depressed, I'm going to stop going out. I'm going to stop talking to people as much. Might not eat my dinner today. I just can't be arsed with it. These are my feelings. They're informing my behaviour. That's natural, because I feel depressed. But then my thoughts, my behaviour, I'm not going out as much. My thoughts are going to change, aren't they? Because I'm not out as much. I'm not sharing my life with people, and these thoughts change, and this behaviour changes, and that makes me feel worse. It's all connected. So how do I get a stick in that and change it? Because my feelings are getting worse, my behaviour might be getting worse, my thoughts are not helping. So I can't force my feelings. I literally can't force them. They're emotions that happen within me. I can work on all this other stuff and it might help me feel better, but I can't force my feelings, just feel better. My thoughts are hard to force as well. Sometimes you can change your mind, what you're thinking, just watch a film, but then the thing might come in your head again, so you have to keep changing channels. I need to go for a walk, or this is what I'm saying about changing your location, literally walking out the room or doing some toast or whatever it is, having to change your mental process, even if it's juggling or something weird, so you're not thinking about the thing that's making you hurt or confusing you or making you upset, so you're doing something, and in the process of doing it, some people, I remember that someone who suffered with grief in my life, they rode a bike, and the process of doing something where they had to concentrate, so that can help, because then you can't be thinking you're changing one of these things, and it might change how you behave and your feelings. The other one is your behaviour, and it might sound silly, like I said, just to get up and go for a walk, but if I'm feeling down and I'm sat around and I'm thinking down, and my behaviour is something because I can't change this one so easy, I have to start changing this one. This is the one that I really can get a grip on. Even if I don't like what I'm doing, I'm not enjoying swimming, I'm not enjoying, but I'm going and I'm swimming. I might not like the training, boxing. This is a good one. Using Tyson Fury as an analogy again, is at first you might not enjoy getting up and going to the gym, or you might still be doing it and the joy might have gone out of it or something. So maybe a different sort of training. But if you get a hold of this one, you've got more chance with these two because it kind of informs it. So that's a good overview of it. Sometimes you need to stick a stick in that and change something, and I think it's the behaviour that's the most easy one to change, and then it will push on with these others. These others will start to work themselves out in a way. That's not going to fix everyone's mental health problem, but that's like a good...
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier. Swish!
Curious Cat sent tippies. Just want to thank you for covering this topic, and I'm sure I speak for everyone in chat too. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thank you, Curious Cat. Like I said, this is someone sent me a message on one of the systems, and I just thought it's easier if I just get it all out of my brain this way. And I'm sure, I'm hoping that they're going to take something from this, and that everyone can. Like I said, I've done it on Mental Health Monday for a year, but it is good to review this from time to time and to be able to put it all in one video, specifically because someone asked me a specific question. So that's a big piece of advice there. And this one actually came to me not just through the internet. I did this as part of cognitive behavioural therapy, which really helped my anxiety. Sounds complicated, cognitive behavioural therapy, but this is all it is really. Like one of them, I used to get really anxious about, it's like, the sky might fall in. It sounds stupid, but I used to get really anxious when I was walking my dog, because my dog was a bitey dog. And if I saw someone, I'd have to cross the road and my dog might bite them. And they said to me, well, how often has your dog bitten a person in the street? And they're not in a funny way. They said, tell me, how often has he bitten people? And I said, well, he's never actually bitten anyone because I'm always like on it. And they said, so what is the odds that you pass someone in the street and the dog goes for them? And I said, well, it's not 100% time. He doesn't do it every time, but I'm worried he's going to do it. So it's just anxiety for me. And they helped me to realise that if I were to put money on it, when I go for a dog walk, if I took £10 out and said, when I go for a dog walk, will my dog bite someone? And I had to put the money on the bet I was going to lose my £10, I'd probably bet no. Because number one, I'm in control of it. And number two, it never does, because it never has happened. So it helped me to contextualise these, and it turned out I wasn't thinking about things wrong, but I was getting things out of context and proportion. And by changing my thoughts this time, by analysing the way I was thinking about things, it did change my behaviour and my feelings, and this all came into it. So Gandalf says, I would actually like to stream with you about depression. Yeah, maybe we could sometime. Like Mental Health Monday, maybe it can be resurrected a little bit. This is a one-off, bit of a random one. I've got these specific things to say, so I would normally just open it up to the phones, but maybe not today, because once I finish this, I'm going to go on and stream a reaction to a Zelda video as well on a different, maybe on the and play some Genshin Impact on, because that's going to be my finishing point about something that I enjoy doing. So, but yeah, maybe in the future. So. The cognitive triangle is a way to get a stick in your feelings, your thoughts, your behaviour, to stop the wheel from spinning out of control, or if you recognise in yourself that something isn't quite right, to start remedying it, even without therapy, even without medication and without the doctor. However, the doctor, the medication, the therapy can all really be helpful if you engage with it early enough and are open-minded, and not... Obviously, don't let them just give you some heavy sedative and then that's it fixed. That's not the answer. But open-minded, doesn't matter what whether it's a therapy session here or whatever. These sound good, then I'll go for that. I'm open to it. Telling someone that you did therapy doesn't make you into a nutter. You know what I mean? It's kind of good for everyone to talk about their stuff. In fact, if we all had a free therapy session every week, we'd all be much better off for it. All of us, doesn't matter how anyone's feeling, you would all be feeling better if you did a week. Most of us do that with our friends as well. We sort of have the opportunity to get things off our chest with our friend who will listen. So you have that. So I've written about stop yourself slipping. We've talked about that. Crisis, like I said, if you are slipping or you know someone who's slipping, these videos on crisis, on Mental Health Monday, how to deal with a mental health crisis and how to recognise a mental health crisis are quite good. I think, I made them for that purpose, so I'm saying they're good. But they are an hour long each, so, if you are in crisis, it's not going to be that's not the first aid for that, but worth a watch. Next, mental health routines and checklist. Am I sleeping properly? Probably not if my mental health is slipping. Give and take that one. My mental health is slipping, so I'm not, or just go to sleep properly then, but I can't because my mental... So that's, that's a flag, isn't it? Like a note. Am I eating properly? That I can fix. Mental health slipping or not. I know whether I'm having my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, and or skipping meals or eating a load of junk food or whatever. I know whether I am. I should be doing that properly. Exercising. Am I getting any exercise? Because that's important. This is like a mental health checklist. If any of these are out of balance or out of whack, then it's not that this is going to fix you overnight, but it could highlight where something is either, it could be a flag to you that your mental health is slipping, or it could be something that you could say, hang on, if I put this right, will it help other wheels in motion to make me feel better? So exercising is an important one as well. Like, a lot of us kind of forget it, like just going for a bit of a jog or walking the dog and this and that. Yeah, that's good, but you can step that up one more step and actually join a club or a gym or something, like, and it combines them with socializing and other stuff, and it gives you routine. And it can often be one of the things that we overlook in mental health because it's physical, but it really does have a massive benefit. So exercising is on your list, and socializing. And when I say socializing, I don't mean like, am I out drinking? So I've got another list. Am I drinking? Am I smoking? Am I binging on food? Am I box setting? As in, am I watching every episode of The Sopranos? You know, am I hibernating myself and turning inwardly? Or am I eating right, exercising, socializing, talking to people, visiting people, family and friends? Maybe doing socializing in the daytime sometimes as well, where you're not encouraged to drink, where it's not like every social event has to be at the pub, you know? And these are much more, if you're worried about the slippery slope, you know, these are much more easy at the start end of the slippery slope than deep down. Because when you start deep down the slippery slope, am I socialising? Well, of course not. I haven't had a shave for weeks. I stink. No one's going to want to socialise with me. I'm an arsehole. You know, it's harder to socialise when you're down the slippery slope. Exercising, I don't sleep properly, so I'm awake all night. I'm not going out at night to the gym. So what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to, you know, it becomes harder. So these are easier: sleeping, eating, exercising, socialising. They're easier on the thin end of the wedge than or whatever, you know. But they're all important. So if you recognise any of that, you know, then think about how to bring those back into balance. And an important point I would make here as well is: are you learning? Are you pushing forward, meditating? This is a list that I haven't got on the screen, but maybe write it down. Are you learning? Are you pushing forward? Are you meditating? Because some of us, like, meditating is a wide one. You don't have to sit down and go om for hours, but are you having some time just to like be peaceful and think? You know, maybe sit by the river. You know, not jump in it. Like, maybe the river's a wrong example considering the context of all this Nicola Bully stuff. But you know, are you having time to do your soul searching and feel stuff? And maybe this comes into spirituality as well. Are you, you know, one with God? Do you have a spiritual perspective? If so, I'm not saying that you should be like, you know, down there singing hymns every day and ringing the bells, but, you know, going to church sometimes, whatever your particular aspect. If you don't have a spirituality, that's fine. But, you know, this is all part of being a complete, balanced person. So having time to do this thinking time, whether it be learning stuff on the internet about, like we're doing today, like we're talking about stuff, I'm suggesting videos, or talking to people, you know, going to a course or reading books, whatever, you know, pushing forward, finding ways to investigate yourself spiritually and mentally. Like, certainly if you're thinking about mental health struggle, then this is part of it, isn't it? So I think this is also on your list. So I know that it's really hard to do that when you're down the difficult end, and that's why I would say that one of the point of this, and it goes kind of with the spirituality and the soul searching and the meditating and stuff, is that you've got to be able to give yourself a break. And a lot of the time with mental health, people might say, oh, you know, you need to work harder at stuff, or you need to, you know, like I'm saying, go to the gym, or like, it seems like there's a lot of effort involved. So sometimes you actually do need the time to hibernate and relax and recharge your batteries, and you need to understand in yourself whether it's a choice to recharge, refuel, and be ready to face the things, or whether you're deliberately turning away and saying, oh, I'm too tired for this. Like, it's all a balance you have to find yourself, but give yourself a break and don't beat yourself up because, okay, today you didn't manage to do all the things on the list exactly as a, you know, fully functioner, but that's okay, because, like, you know, maybe we just work on one bit, you know, ups and downs. Everything, I believe, is in waves. In life, everything seems to be in waves. You know, we talk about sound waves and light waves, and the beach, you know, you sit there and the waves literally come in and go, all this energy in waves, and you feel good some days and then you feel a bit down some days, and some days are sunny and some days are rainy, and, like, you know, spring, summer, autumn, winter, and it comes round again. Like, there's these cycles and these waves. So if you are at a low ebb, then we're thinking about how to push up to a higher wave. Of course, at the height of those waves as well, people can get a bit manic and things can get a bit out of control. Maybe, life can be a bit like a roller coaster sometimes, even with the joys. So it's important to understand that, you go on both ends. Maybe the best part is the middle bit where the waves aren't, crashing either way. But we all do live in this wave pattern and this cycle. So giving yourself a bit of a break sometimes and being able to say, okay, I recognise these issues, and today staying in and eating chips isn't fixing my problems, but I also feel hungry and tired, so I'm going to stay in and eat chips, and I'm not going to beat myself up because I didn't manage to go out and do a run today. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm such an idiot bit, there's something wrong with me bit, it's my inability to fix these problems. You got to no, because if you're going to beat yourself up, everyone else is always beating you. Everyone else is ready to beat you up. So if you're going to start beating yourself up, it's going to be very difficult. The first person that needs to be able to put their arm around you is you. You need to be able to pick. I did say this at the start. I'm here to help. Everyone's going to be there to help you, and people will want to pick you up. But ultimately, deep inside you, when the dark times are there, and when you're facing these darker waves, these lower ebbs, it's about being able to visualize the future and say, look, I'm climbing out of this. I'm reaching out a hand for you to hold. I'm holding. My other hand's reaching up and holding up someone else's hand that's helping me, and we're all doing that. But if you're not going to stand up and reach, then it's very difficult to drag someone out of these holes. So literally the process of standing up and reaching, it requires giving yourself that care and saying it's okay. I might not be ready to reach right now, might need to just muster some strength, but I'm going to, and I deserve it, and it's okay to reach. It's okay for me to be whatever these things are. There's no shame in struggling and all that. It's absolutely fine. So self-care involves giving yourself a break sometimes as well. Yeah, don't beat yourself up over stuff. In terms of feeling numb as well, life, sometimes depression isn't just. I remember thinking, and it's not about me, but examples. But I remember thinking I can't remember any happy memories or good feelings. I don't enjoy my dinner. Things just lost. It wasn't just things. Everything seemed to have always lost some sort of joy. I was living life with the colour turned down, or I wasn't taking the same joy in things as other people. So feeling a bit numb, I think it's actually quite a normal thing.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then
Slinky
swoosh.
Socks sent tippies. Thanks Chuffer Redheart # big hugs to all in chat Redheart # XXX.
Yeah, thanks, Slinky
Super
Socks.
Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Big hearts, everyone. I believe it's okay. Again, this feeling of numbness. I think that if you are usually feeling happy, and depression takes away some of these joys, and it can literally be a chemical balancing thing in the brain. I mean, the more and more work being done on depression as we talk. So maybe I should hold off on what I think the biological thing and all this. The doctors maybe don't always know exactly, having different ideas as we talk. But they talk about dopamine and happiness and all this. If I'm not just getting that happiness like I thought I was, if I'm just not getting that happiness, then the absence of happiness is a sort of depression, isn't it? It might not be that I'm directly feeling this and that, see everything's dark and everything, but that dulled feeling, yeah. And I think it can be a natural response to life. Again, I want to repeat this, that life is shocking and harsh. And I think about the streams we've done recently about Nicola Bullett, and I said it yesterday about how someone really has died, and this is a sad thing. And it goes on all around us, all the TV shows we watch, all the films, all the the songs. There's all this harsh reality going on around us, and we're only little human beings, and there's a lot of information, and human response to this overload can be to sort of shut down a bit and say, all right, well, I'm just not gonna. And we've had all the COVID, and we've had all the there's so much that we've been through. Sometimes I think that the ability to process it, we're not given. It's not like once. I mean, we do have weekends, don't we, where we go for a few drinks and try and let our hair down. But we don't have a day where we process all the information and just nothing's happening today. We're just having a think about it. Like that never seems to happen. It's always constant, and the more and more, and the phones and the internet, and the more and more. So I think that it might seem that more and more information can make you more and more hyped in your mind, but sometimes it can be like just a sort of wall goes up in your own. Don't want to. Like, I've had enough. And to process it all at once is too much. So our bodies, our minds, they can tell us when it's too much. So I actually, this is going to sound weird, but I actually like to cry. I like to cry. What do you mean I like to cry? I don't like to cry. I'm not like, let's have a good cry today. Yes, today's on my list of crying. But the other day, an example. Where's my channels? I was going to write Ganji Kid then. Super Chuffer. I'm Super Chuffer, aren't I? The other day, we uploaded this game. Super Chuffer plays Bramble the Mountain King. I don't want to spoil the ending. But I did cry at the end. Like, it was like watching a really cool film, and at the end, it's sad, and like, so I did a cry. Or like, it's happy, so I did a cry. It wasn't just sad, or like, it was also happy as well in a way. So I did a cry. Like, emotions were happening, and I had a little cry about it. And then at the end, like, I wiped my eyes and I felt, wow. And then we move on. And like, being able to accept things and move on is really difficult, especially in big life problems or big life issues, or even like things that you don't think are big life issues, but that are, like we've just been through. Like I say, like, I think COVID and all that has like a latent effect. Like, we're now learning to live in like the wake of certain things. So being able to process, like, having these feelings, if I didn't play the game and have the feelings and have my little cry in that moment, when would I and how would I? And I think we've all got a different thing. So some of us like listening to sad music sometimes. I used to. Like, I'm not going to do it every day while there's all people around me. So sometimes it might be if you're out on your own, or when you've got the house to yourself, or it might be a sad movie, or it might be a piece of music. For me, certain pieces of music, they really set me off, but I can't not listen to them all the way through to the end. Like, and I'm thinking things like Bridge Over Troubled Water, or when Susan Boyle did her audition, and she did And the tigers come at night, and you were like, oh, Susan, that sort of thing. Like, we all have that natural response to it, and it helps us to work through our other feelings. And there might be things that are going on from deeper down, from long ago, or more recent, or whatever, and you don't really know that they're the thing you want to cry about, or you don't really think that I need to have a deep introspective about this thing. For me, might be recently my cat died, and so some people might say it's just a cat. It's just your cat. But for me it was like quite painful and emotional, and having to take him there and hold him while they put him down was quite difficult. So obviously I felt that at the time, but you don't know that 6 weeks later I might not be enjoying my dinner or whatever, and then I might watch a Whiskers advert and it might make me go, oh, Whiskers. And so being able to allow yourself to process stuff, being able to allow yourself the time and the moment to say, oh, well, this is affecting me, that's okay. In fact, I didn't know this would affect me. And to me, quite often happens with games, and it happened at Genshin Impact a few times. They deliberately pull at your heartstrings with a little bit of an emotional story, and some stories don't get me. Not that doesn't seem to connect, but others, I'm like, oh, and it must be something in me that I'm processing, maybe. For you, it'll be a different piece of media, a different thing. But by watching these films, by allowing yourself the space to think and feel, films, music, sometimes books, although books are a bit slower, aren't they? But whatever it is that, I think as a culture, as we've come to, like, we have weepy movies, don't we? We know the films make us sad. Like, we know they do, and we watch them anyway. Like the start of Up or something. I contest anyone who's suffered with any form of personal grief like that to watch Up and not cry. Like, they're human things that we all share. So when those moments happen for you, it's okay to sort of sit and think, oh, hang on, wait, like, why am I? Okay, I'm going to let it happen. I'm going to have my little tears. It's okay, everyone. Don't worry if there's people, like, a lot of us like to do this like alone, but it's okay if there's even people there. If you're talking and something sets you off, like, say, it's okay. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. I'm going to just feel this. I'm going to have a little cry. I'm going to let it go, and then like breathe in, breathe out, and then wonder maybe later what it was that really, really was the core for me. Because it wasn't exactly what happened on the game. Like, for me, it wasn't the fact that the game happened and the game was so amazing and made me so sad. It was that I've got a relationship in my life, Like for me, the game was about siblings, and I've got a sister. So, you know, any feelings I've got there have come from my relationship with my sister, not really from the game. But the heroic moment at the end of the film where, yes, I've won, can sometimes, it's sad, but it's real, and I'm, you know, these sort of things. So, I think it's really important, and I would encourage anyone that feels like mental health is on their agenda to actually accept that we do have, like, it is natural. You're not wrong here to feel these things, or to not want to feel, or to feel that you're not feeling them, or whatever these things are, and finding a way to process emotion and express it and feel it and allow it, and then move on. You know, not, I'm going to stay watching this film for the next 6 weeks, and I'm only going to watch this film and I'm going to cry and cry and cry. That's not how we work, is it? You know, at the end, give yourself an hour, maybe have a drink, and not an alcoholic one I was going to suggest, you know, but, talk to someone about it. And then, okay, you know, I'm glad we covered this. Right, what's next? You know, like, then it's about changing that cognitive triangle again. It's about saying, right, I'm going to change the way I think. I've been feeling this thing. It's come up. I've thought about it. I've changed my behaviour. Now it's time to change my behaviour, my thoughts, change my feelings again. I'm not going to stay in that one place forever. And everything's a process, and everything's a cycle. So it's about continuing to process. And then it goes back to what I said before about learning, about moving forward, about meditating and soul searching and spirituality, because ultimately it's not about living in that one moment there. It's about having this moment and moving forward. So I think that's important. And the next step there, and we'll come on now in a minute to this support networks NHS self-assessment. We're going to do the self-assessment quiz, find out how depressed you really are. But I think getting into life, and this is like, you know, not, if you're on the way down into a depressive moment, getting into life and having a passion is not really the easiest advice, but it's part of the wider context. So it's important to talk about it, is whatever it is for you. And when you're on the way down into depression, you know, I would suggest that people lose sight of these things they enjoy. They stop doing them as much. They start not enjoying them as much. So that's difficult. But having that passion, having that thing, whether it be like making videos, or I said that because I'm sitting doing a video, but or like playing cards, or writing music, or like building houses, or whatever you know what I'm talking about, like your passion thing, like whether you enjoy cooking, or you have to in life. If I gave you £1 million, what would, like, you might sit on the beach and just drink cocktails, yeah. But even if you did that, right, with £1 million, you'd get bored after a while drinking cocktails, and you'd be like, what's the point in just getting up every day just to sit on the beach? Oh, there is no point. Meditate on it. It's fine. Just go in the sea. Yeah, but honestly, as human beings, having a little bit of a purpose, and it can be something silly like I'm making a model railway set for my grandson, or it can be something as serious as I'm working in human rights violations as a volunteer. You know, there's a broad spectrum of whatever you can get into, and it's all valid. Some people like making really interesting sculptures out of chocolate. Some people collect coins. Like, I don't diss any of that, because if it gets you out of bed in the morning and you want to go and have another, you know, find a new piece of chocolate, or, you know, you've seen a 50p with the prints on it, like, get yourself out there, get a passion, and get into life. And it doesn't matter what it is. I'll tell you what as well, being honest with yourself, unless you're a pedo, obviously you're not a pedo, so like, that's fine, but like, do you know what I mean? Unless you're that, like, everything's on the table here, and no one can tell you no. So it might be that you like musicals, or it might be that you like singing. Is it like singing? Again, I go back to Tyson Fury. The man sang with the microphone at the end of his bouts, like, you know, the voice of an angel. Do you know what I mean? Like, have a passion for it. And it can be hard, this one. I think this one comes more after you've done the other work a bit. But having a passion for life, having something to get into and get yourself up for, that's really important. So if it's lacking, if you don't see it, if you can't nail that and say, oh, this is my thing, obviously that's my passion. If I wasn't listening to this now, I'd be off doing that. And I don't just mean like smoking weed and jerking off, because obviously that's that has to go in the bin of drinking, smoking, binging, and box setting, you know. But I mean, like, you know, something creative or constructive, you know, something you can share with people maybe sometimes. That things you do on your own are great, Like, I go walking the dog in the woods. I enjoy it. It gives me that free time to think, like, you know what I mean, that peaceful time. But at the same time, if that was my hobby and that was all I did, I should join a walking group, because then I'd have someone to share it with. There's more to life than just doing things on your own as well. So, and I've covered treating myself with care earlier, but that goes with getting into life and having a passion. You know, treating yourself with care, being fair to yourself, because you're a human being and you've got obligations and this and that and responsibilities maybe, but you know, ultimately you can't help anyone if you can't help yourself. So first person to be careful about and to care for is yourself, and to accept that care as well. When other people offer you support, when other people offer you, in chat as well, Pauline, good point there. I'm an artist. Good point, Pauline. We should do, actually, that's what we should do. We should do an art show where people send in their art and we look at all of your art and we all do paintings of Alan. But treating yourself with care is major, because if you can't do that yourself, then how are you going to allow it from other people? And it's so, like, this is a massive one for anyone who's considering, should I get mental health support or whatever, which is what we're going to come on to now. We're going to look at the support and we're going to look at the assessment. Is would you offer this help to somebody else? If someone came to you and said they're feeling the things that you describe, would you stop and talk to them and help them? Or would you say, I don't know about this, you should just pull your shit together, get on with your work, go to the gym? So give yourself the same care that you would give to other people. You would give them time and you would understand and be supportive. Accept it yourself. If someone wants to give you some time, if someone, you know, says, I can help you with that, don't be like, oh no, it's okay, I've got this. I'll carry this, don't worry. Like, it's fine. Like, open up. And these are the final points I wanted to make. Things take time. You're not alone, so never close down. Like, it's all a process. It's not going to be overnight. So never close down. Never shut the doors and close the windows, because at that point you're there are times where you don't want to show the world your worst side, where you need a shave and you haven't had a shower or whatever, but those times, like, or it might not be a shave for a lady, or it might be but you know what I mean. Like, I was talking about myself then. So when I'm depressed, I grow a beard.
Swish, and then whoosh.
Narc Slayer sent tippies. Such an important conversation. Thanks, Scott Redheart Hash.
No worries, Narc Slayer. Big ups.
Super Chuffer owes 6 hugs.
Thanks very much. Yeah, never close down. It's hard in the dark times, but there's always people that you feel close to that you will know if you're, closing them off. Like, don't close all the doors and windows. That's an issue. Reaching out is the most, is a big step, and this is a big one as well. Is that I think it's important to make people understand this. Like, if you're watching this, anyone that's watching this for a bit of support or to help, you're doing the best thing already yourself. You're keeping going. You're trying. You're looking for hope. You're putting in some effort, and it's that effort that counts. It's not the results. It's one of these like, it's everyone gets the wrong answer, the right answer. It's not the results. It's the effort.
It's
and at
raining
times,
again. I couldn't
Kay
be
sent
happier.
tippies.
Swish, and then
Super
whoosh.
Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
thanks, Kay. Really appreciate it. My grandmother was called Kathleen. Her name started with a K. It's the effort that counts, and you're not going to be able to put in 100% effort all the time. No one can. Does anyone, like, name your favorite, superhero icon? Do they put in 100% effort all the time, or are they allowed a break? Are they allowed some downtime? Are they allowed to recharge their batteries? No one can put in 100% of the time. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. In fact, I should bring this up again. If you can fill the unforgiving minute. So, I like to use If by Rudyard Kipling. There's a lot in this. There's, certain lines for certain moments. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it all on one turn of pitch and toss, lose, start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. I think it's okay to talk about, our losses, but to allow it to become your who you are, to become your story, is not, because you've got more story ahead of you. If you can force your heart and nerve inside you to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. This is what we're talking about. This is in the dark times. If you've got that in you, you need to hold on. You need to get through the dark times. I said it earlier. If you can do 10 minutes, if you've listened to me talking, then you've done 50 minutes. So that's 50 minutes, nearly an hour. If you can get through an hour, we can put 2 of them together and we can do 2 hours. And I know it's not your whole life is fixed, but 2 hours. Don't give up. We'll do the next 2 hours together. And then you might have to do an hour on your own. Hold on. hold on and get through these dark hours, and things will brighten up. So that's important. And then the next one here as well is, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. So, like, we're talking the unforgiving minute. That's when it's most difficult. That's when you don't want to run. That's when things like the unforgiving minute is the one where you don't get a break. Is the one where you're running in the rain. Is the one where things are starting to burn. Like, the unforgiving minute is the tough minute. That's the tough minute. That's the hard minute. If you can fill that minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, and it doesn't tell you a marathon. It doesn't say if you can fill that minute by getting to the end of the mountain, or just run, just distance. Doesn't matter how big the distance is. It might be 2 foot. You might be dragging yourself over that 2 foot in that minute. But if you can fill it with 60 seconds worth, it says run. Obviously, ideally we're running, but you might be dragging yourself through it. But if you can power through for 60 seconds, and it's not asking you to do it for the rest of the, I don't have to carry everyone for the rest of the year. I don't have to carry everyone for the rest of my life. I just have to get through this minute, and I have to work at it, and I have to go for 60 seconds worth of distance run. I have to make a forward progress, and I've got to fill that minute. When things are at their most difficult, I'm not going to, I can't, in that most unforgiving minute, I can't be off and on and maybe, and I don't know, and turn back and maybe, I'll do a little bit. I've got to grit my teeth and go, If you can do that. And that's, I think, with depression. I think that's when those most difficult minutes occur. And that's why I, reiterate about suicide as well. They can get pretty fucking difficult, these minutes. The most unforgiving minutes. So sometimes it's not about, how far distance you can run necessarily. Sometimes it's about how much you can hold on when there's nothing in you except the will that says to hold on. Just your will. And sometimes, we're talking about, don't do it. Don't do this thing. Don't jump off. Don't do it. But do hold on. There's a difference there. Don't let go. If you can feel the unforgiving minute with distance run, if you can work at your hardest when things are toughest, and I know you can, because we're talking about this. We're talking about depression, aren't we? So if you've been through these hard times and you've moved through and forward, if you recognise depression, if you recognise these are hard times, and you are watching this and moving forward, then you are winning. Then we're on the way, and everything else will start panning out. So, hold on and fill that unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. When you feel it, and you feel it. When you feel it, it's time to grit your teeth and get through it, and we will. I reminded as well, Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going. Cool. So the big links that I've dropped in chat include the Samaritans. You can always call someone. They include Lifeline 988 in America. I've also included mind.org, which was actually my portal. I can never say that word properly. Chortle. I have a little chortle at the way he says portal. I see you all in chat as well. I see you all in chat with your interesting, things that you're saying. I'm not picking on anyone particular today, of course, because I didn't want anyone to feel like anyone got picked on today. I think this is general, but it is specifically for someone, but it's general, so this is all good. And there's no stigma to this. If anyone wanted to come forward and say, I am feeling this, that's fine. That's good. It's good, if anything. Information and support, mind.org. So I've left the link in chat. It's like a big website, and they've got all this stuff. They're the mental health professionals from the UK, and it doesn't matter which aspect you're coming into. It doesn't matter which age range you are, or what kind of thoughts or feelings. There's something on here. Different types of problems. Even if you just wanted to help someone else or get involved in a charity campaign yourself, finding support through this is quite straightforward. They have drop-in centres, so unlike the NHS, where like one of the problems with the NHS is that you go in the doctors and you sign up, and unless it's really, really serious, they're like, okay, we'll put you on the list 6 months. And then you go in after 6 months and they're like, so tell me about it. You're like, oh, thank God I've got here. It's not quite the same as it is now as it was 6 months ago. But and then you tell them and they're like, oh, that's interesting. We'll put you on the list and then we'll get you help.
Again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish and then whoosh.
Neil Warden sent tippies. I normally do comedy tippies, but this subject is too important. 15 years ago this month, I was sectioned and put in Shelton Hospital for 3 months. I met some amazing people in their patients and nurses. Love to you
Raining
all.
again. I couldn't be
Super
happier.
Chuffer
Swish
03
and
hugs.
then whoosh.
Thank you for reminding us not to stare into the void. Super Chuffer 03 hugs.
Sorry to hear you got sectioned. It's quite I imagine and understand quite a maybe brutal process in a way, but as long as you've come through it, that's important. And meeting friends there, you never know exactly, like you never know where you're going to find these deep connections with people that can really understand you. So that may have had a silver lining in a way. I've got a friend who's been through some struggles like that, and yeah, talking about the NHS specifically, and thank you for the tippies, thank you for the tippies. I'm talking about the NHS specifically. You know, it can be at one end of the scale on the spectrum, it can seem quite, you know, aggressive or scary. People can be scared away from it. This is what I was going to say with Mind as well. The great thing about Mind.org is this drop-in centre, being able to drop in centre and just talk to someone who has got experience and is sort of, you know, I want to say qualified, but is working on an independent charity. And this is not like, you're not having to go on a waiting list. And okay, it's not proper therapy because you're doing a drop-in centre, but they do have these places, and you have one locally. Like each individual Mind.org is the big organisation, but your local area will have its own local Mind.org satellite. So that's a good start point, whether it be going on the internet to look for some information and support, whether it be online peer-to-peer support, which is great because, you know, people like you talking about things that you're going through. All this stuff is here. The A to Z of mental health. If you don't know about what kind of drug the doctor's talking about, it's on here. It's even got your legal rights about sectioning and stuff. So it's all on here, and it's a really good resource. That's in the link in the description below. Lee's making a joke. I think it's okay to make jokes, but you want to be, you know, today's a bit seriously, and like you're quite close to the line there with like, I don't know. Obviously, I know you from chat, so you're all right. But like, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it really. Like, because I'm being quite sincere and serious today, so I didn't expect to see that pop up in chat, but it is an interesting take. Mind.org, information and support. Next, we've looked at Samaritans, we've looked at Lifeline. This is the NHS, this is in the list, anxiety, NHS Inform. It's in the description below. So anxiety is a very specific thing, but a lot of people who have depression also suffer with anxiety. So rather than me do a whole episode on anxiety now, this is one where you go specifically to the doctor. Anxiety is a specific thing, and they've got a couple of different specific helps. I found giving up alcohol for me was a huge move forward, and going to the cognitive behavioural therapy was massive. It only took 12 weeks maximum, and I bought them a plant at the end, and I was like, thanks so much, this has really helped. All I had to do was go and sit in a room and talk to the chuffer, and then they gave me a little worksheet, and I thought about it and worked, and then come back. It was really good. So that's in the description along with Mind, because it's a specific one, but also of course on the Super Chuffer channel. If you go channels, Mental Health Monday, and videos, this is why I've done these as well, is because I can't talk, you know, we've already done over and coming up to an hour now on the general concepts. Getting into anxiety is specific, requires a bit more. So I've done an hour on it there, and I've done an hour on it there, so there's 2 different hours on it there, plus the websites in chat. So there's all that for anxiety specific. I also found ASMR videos were helping me to deal with anxiety when I was sleeping. However, they weren't getting to the root cause, and this is one of the main things I'll say about anxiety before I just, you know, move off the topics. It's not going to be the full thing today, but there is stuff out there I've already done, and there is this in the chat, sorry, in the description below. Is that anxiety is a natural response. We do feel anxious about stuff. It maybe gets out of control a little bit, and we'd find ways of controlling it naturally. And for a lot of us, it's drinking. Like for a lot of us, Like when you go out and you want to like talk about this, right? If I go out and I want to talk to a girl, I get a bit angry about it. No, I get edgy. I was a little bit anxious then, so I said the wrong word. Like I do that when I talk to a girl. Oh, whoops, I said the wrong word because I'm a bit anxious. You know, like, so what do I do? Well, what I used to do, I'd have a couple of beers. And then I go and talk to the ladies. Hey ladies, I've had a couple of beers now. I'm not so anxious. But anxiety and alcohol go hand in hand, because when I'm wearing off the alcohol, when it's on the day after, I don't know this, but it's making me more anxious. And just the process of making me more anxious makes me want to drink more. So then I drink, and then the next day I need, and it's like a bad cycle. So, Julie Ashmore in chat there, Ciroc was horrendous. Yeah, true. I had that once. I took it about 3 days and I binned it off, and thank God that was horrendous. I found the right one, mirtazapine, and I'm trying to ease off that now. But yeah, you have to be quite careful, and you have to. That's why I said at the very start of today's episode, get to the doctor early and be prepared to see it as a bit of a process. So getting in there early doors means that you're registered, they've got you on the list, you were feeling this way on this day, and you came and asked for some help, and they gave you these ideas and these support networks, and did they work and didn't they, and come back, and what do you think, maybe you might want to try this tablet, and like those sort of things, they take time and they are a process, and you have to be prepared that maybe the doctor gives you a tablet and you don't quite vibe with it, so you stop taking it, or maybe it's a really good one for you and it really helps. So I don't know, everyone's different, but getting there early is good. So now what we're going to do to finish is, and because this isn't like my huge stream today, I'm going to go on Twitch and play Genshin Impact and react to a Zelda video in a bit. But could you be depressed? I do this quite regularly, actually, this one. I haven't done it for a while, so I'll give my truthful answers, and anyone can do this at any time. It's in the links in the description below. I'll copy and paste it into chat as well. So this is a really good resource. So I'll do it with you. You can do it together. You can do it on your own at any time. I'll do it now. Have you found little pleasure and interest in doing things? This is quite an interesting question, because it's not are you angry or upset, but have you found little pleasure or interest in doing things? Has the colour been taken out of life? Does the chocolate not taste as sweet? Are you bothered? Little pleasure or interest? For me, it used to be on more than half the days I had little interest. Some days I didn't even want to get out of bed. So, actually you need to see this better, don't you? You can't see this properly. Quickly, Scotty Hottie, don't mess about now, hurry up. Let's Firefox it up, and let's make it so they can see the damn questions. You idiot. See me saying I do this to myself all the time. I say you idiot to myself. I'm always saying, that's my own self-critic that tends to make me depressed, is you idiot. You've got to be careful not to do this to ourselves. Have you found little pleasure? Well, for me, it's not little pleasure anymore. For me, no, I quite enjoy doing everything these days. Actually, the truth is, and this is when you go back and you watch my Mental Health Monday videos, and then you can go back even further, and I should show you this as well quickly. So, Mental Health Monday, I did the test on Mental Health Monday. I also, on True Binaural and ASMR, I did a depression confession. I don't know if I took the test on this one, but in that depression confession, I just talked about, I just explained it all. And that ramble on anxiety, we've done some anxiety rambles on here. There's a lot of work on, depression that goes through the ASMR, help with anxiety there. Like I was saying, I think this helps you when you're feeling anxious, but I don't think it fixes your anxiety. So I was also pointing people towards mental health support as well. And the depression confession is part of that. It's just me talking about all the depression that I felt over the years. So I'd say in the past, I felt much more depressed. I was aware of it, and I had to go through it. So I know about this shit. I'm not just, this is a good website. I know about it. And when I'm answering these questions, it might seem a bit like, I'm not feeling bad now. That's good. But the truth is, I used to feel really bad. So I'm grateful, and it should be hopeful for everyone. Everyone else can see the hope here. It can be done. But I'm not you, and things are different from me. And yeah, but it can be done, and you can do it. You have to get that in your head. Maybe this is a good example of that. But for some people, this is going to be a different answer, and they're going to be on a different part of the journey, I'm aware. You know, it might be on a more negative tip to you side. But interesting, that question 1 is, have you found little pleasure in doing things? Next, have you found yourself feeling down, depressed or hopeless? I mean, these are pretty straightforward concepts, aren't they? So for me, on some days, I'm going to say, 100% say on some days I feel that. Not all half the days for me now, but on some days I have. Yeah. Have you had trouble falling or staying asleep or sleeping too much? Again, this is a really easy question, isn't it, in a way? Because you know if you've been sleeping. So, for me, it's like nearly every day. I never sleep at the right times. I'm awake all night. Yeah, that's always nearly every day for me. I've had better times and worse times, and I'm currently in a phase of worse times. Have you been feeling tired or had little energy? Yeah, because of the bad sleeping. But there's a straightforward question. And how many days have you done it? Have you had a poor appetite or been overeating? And for me, again, yeah, on more than half the days I have this, but it's a weird one for me because it's about like routine, you know, going to bed, getting up when I'm eating. I think what they're really asking is, you know, do you fancy your dinner? Are you getting hungry for your dinner? Are you eating it? Or on the alternative, are you sitting down and eating an entire bucket of chicken? All the chicken you can eat? That's what they're really asking. So I'm only going to put some days, because actually I've got a fairly normal appetite. It's just I'm asleep at the wrong times to be eating. Have you felt you're a failure or let yourself or your family down? Now, that's a really big, heavy one, and it does point a big target, big thing. I was saying about beating yourself up. I talked about it briefly earlier, but actually when you get depressed, you can really feel this sense of shame, this sense of failure. And it's not the end of the story. So even if there are things that you feel negatively about, you're obligated then to work on them, I feel like, you know, to help to improve your situation, your story, so that you can do better for yourself and your family. I mean, I can accept in some ways that people would say, well, I didn't achieve X, Y, Z, or I didn't give them this, but ultimately what they really want is for you to be there and to love them so that they can love you back. So, you know, that's the most important one. But have you ever felt you're a failure or let yourself down? I'm sure I understand this feeling. I recognise it from my own past, but not at present, I don't. I mean, on some days I haven't done the dishwasher when I should do. But am I a full failure and all this? Like, you know, I do worry. I'll say that. Do you know what? I'll say this. I worry because obviously with the Nicola Bully stuff, we get a boost to the channel, and my channel can't grow at that rate all the time. But I worry that, it's not growing as fast as it was last month. I hope it keeps going well. You know, it's still growing, but I worry not about letting other people down, about failing, you know, about being a failure, not on a day-to-day basis, but about the concept of it. So I'm going to say some days, but not really much at the moment. You know, I used to feel that more strongly as well. And it's interesting, I feel that we're more social when we're more successful. If you feel in yourself things are going well, you'll go to the party and you'll say, oh yeah, you know, things are going well. But if things aren't going so well, it's not so, you know, you're not so swift to go and broadcast that, are you? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're at the party and things are going well, oh yeah, things are going so well. Oh, I tell everyone, things are going well. But if things are going badly, then you're not going to be like, oh yeah, things are going so badly. Well, I don't feel that anyway. In fact, I feel less like calling people up, less like it, rather than more like it. And that's been a problem for me, and it's destroyed some of my relations. I can name names of people like Martin Gillibrand, if he's ever listening, who I love, but I haven't spoken to in like 20 years because I felt that I couldn't pull my shit together. So, like, what have I got to sort of call? And like, for a while there, I just didn't feel like, what's the point in trying to maintain friendships with people because I can't offer anything, and I'm like letting do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but and who's going to want, I haven't spoken to them in so long now, it seems like I don't care, and maybe they, you know, like, I still have that problem. I should call them up to date, but I should just try and make more contact with people. So I think this all ties in. I think it's all, and it can be a really difficult plug hole, but answer the question, put your answer in, and then decide, and then move on to the next one. Have you had some trouble concentrating on things like reading the paper or watching TV? Quite a different question now. We're talking about your ability to focus, and depression and cognitive impairment can go in together in that way. It's almost like an ADHD, feeling uncomfortable with everything, For me, sometimes it's been the exact particular trauma that I can't stop thinking about. It reminds me of when you break up with someone, this one. You know, if you break up with someone, on the day you break up with them, you can't watch anything on TV or just like read a book. It's just that I think about them all the time. Some weeks later, it might be that you can do certain things, but you don't really. I don't want to play pool anymore. I'm fed up with it. I just need to go to my room and have a cry. So having trouble concentrating on things and getting distracted and not being able to easily settle, you know, that sort of thing. For me, I'm going to say no, or on some days. There are some YouTube videos that I really want to watch that are long form that I just can't seem to. I'm not doing as many long form podcast listens at the moment. Can't seem to get through it all in one go. So I'm going to say some days, but not really. And overthinking things is a good shout there in chat there, John. You know, unable to concentrate on something banal like reading the paper or watching TV because you've got all this stuff going on in your mind. Yeah, there's that as well. Have you been moving or speaking slowly? This is a strange one, but like, you know, some people have different. For me, this isn't one that I really recognise apart from the fidgety bit, like I was just describing. But moving or speaking slowly, I don't recognise that myself. But if you recognise that as your particular depression trait, then, and so that other people could notice. I mean, I was the other day on stream, but I was really tired. I smoked a load of weed, but I think this one can also be the opposite as well. I think this can also be if you're when they say fidgety, I think, like I was just describing, if you get too quick and you're getting too manic and you're having so many good ideas, and maybe we should all meet up and maybe we should write a script and film a film, and then, like, you know, a week later it doesn't seem like so important, and maybe it was a bit of a, you know, I think we all get excited a bit too much sometimes as well, and maybe that can do it. But I'm going to say not at all, but I'm going to say on some days, because the other day I was really doing it on stream, and I don't think it was a depression thing, but I think it was because I was really tired. But have you thought that you'd be better off dead or hurting yourself in some way? And this is suicidal thoughts and ideation, so this is a serious one, and it'll probably get us binned off the internet in some way for me talking about it and saying the words. So wake up, YouTube, this is important. We're waiting for your call, 116123 for free. In America it's 988 for Lifeline. I'm not going to unpack this too deeply, but it's very clear, isn't it, what it's asking about? Do you imagine or wonder what it would be like? Do you wonder how you might do something like this? That's ideation, that's suicidal thoughts. Do you have them? If yes, then you're on the right path here, because you need to be helped. Not you need to be helped, but you need to be considering how to work from that position into a place where those thoughts aren't really your priority or on your mind, really. You know, because I don't think it's the way forward. In fact, what you're doing by watching this video is something different, isn't it? So I think you're on the right path, even though you have these thoughts. I think we all have difficult thoughts. I think we all have dark thoughts, but I think you're on the right path if you're analysing whether you're having them, how much you're having them, and seeing it as a red flag, not a red flag that you want to follow, you know. So not at all some days, nearly half the days.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then
Kristen
whoosh.
Catwoman sent tippies. You're a lovely man, Scott.
Thanks.
Big hugs, red heart hash. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thanks. This final one, you know what? I would used to have to click these buttons. Honestly, I'd have to click these buttons. Not at all now. Everyone else, you know, hurting everyone else. Don't get me wrong, you know, how often have I thought I'd be better off hurting everyone else in some way? Oh, all the time. I don't want to be dead. I want to kill everyone else. So now it's better. No, I'm joking. But no, honestly, I used to feel like that, but not at all now. I'm interested in, you know, squeezing the juice out of life. Yeah. There's a good point in chat there, Helen. I don't want to die. I just want the pain to stop. And that's a very good point, which I think is a good point to sort of finalise this thing, is for a lot of people, this aspect of it can be a way out, an escape, rather than the answer, a way out and an escape. And so it's important that we recognise that when you feel like this, there are other ways out, there are other escapes, but they take sometimes a little more time and a little more process. And so the pain doesn't stop overnight, and people want that immediate response, and there are immediate responses such as sleeping pills. This is why some medication, even though I don't want to live like this, I don't want to feel like this, like, you know, with the medication feeling even, like, at least it helps you to get through to a point where you can move. Like, it's like a stopgap. I don't want to feel like this, so we medicate, and then we don't feel like anything, so that's no good, but then we can move on to the next phase, which is we start to feel better. So you don't have to always feel like anything. And to some people, I believe the suicidal thoughts are a method of escape. So if we write them off as to say, okay, we're not taking that method, that's not an option, then what are our other options? And we find other ways to get through. That's you know, at that point, that has to be the choice and the conversation in your mind, isn't it? And it, again, like I started with as well, I think for all of us, the help is there. You know, the help is there. For a lot of us, like, it has to come from within in some way. And we have to decide to fight that battle, and we have to decide to hold on when there's nothing in us except the will which says hold on. We have to decide to fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. And we also need to know when to take a break and recharge and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'd agree with all of that. So it's the effort to get up that counts. It's the effort to get up. And it's the effort, you know, you've got to put in, I believe, a little. And sometimes you're too drained to put in any effort, so you need to recuperate. So it's all a cycle. I think we've done some good work there today now. I think I've covered all of the things on my notes. Someone asked in chat about how to get onto Twitch. Twitch, yeah. So I've done a bit about mental health, because specific. We did that specific, so that's what I did then. But it pertains to all of you. You know, anyone can think about these things. That's the cognitive triangle. There's a lot in today's video. There's a lot of throwing a lot of ideas up there now. Like, so it's not like all of these ideas have gone in your head and that's going to fix everything. That's not how it's going to work. It's a process. So be aware that you're on the process and that you're doing well to, like, reaching out, talking, looking for hope, looking for future ideas is the process that's, like, you're doing so good. Like, that's the way, like, I'm already really encouraged. Like, when I say these things, I'm talking in these videos. If you're watching this, you know, I'm really encouraged with you. I think you've already shown this massive heart that you need to be able to get through this shit. And I think it's normal and human to be going through it. So that's all good. It might be worth rewatching this sometimes, from time to time. Or, like I say, my mental health support myself is on Mental Health Monday. All the links are in chat for all the other websites I've been, and mine is probably better than Mental Health Monday, isn't it? You know, my videos are informed by all these different ideas, but this is the, you know, this is where it's all at with the top level resources. Mind.org. It's all in chat. Sorry, all in the links. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on Twitch. So on Twitch, my channel is Ganji Kid. I'll link it in it's often linked in the descriptions of things. I'll link it in chat there. That's my Twitch channel. It's a separate app on your phone, or it's a website, you know, if you're on the internet. And it's like YouTube, but it's mainly for games, really. Like, if you go on, there is a just chatting section, but what I tend to do is I tend to play my games on it. So I'm playing games. There's some old videos there that you can see what it's like. If you go over there, you can find out what sort of streams happen. And then, like, you can see the topics that I've been streaming: Genshin Impact, Just Chatting, Bramble, that game we played, and I played some Hearthstone recently. Today I'm going to be playing Genshin Impact. And when I played Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, I'm considering doing it on YouTube. But I think probably goes on this platform. Like, if I was on Twitch, I'll just scroll down here, look, the live channels they think we'll like. Today it's not naked women, thank God. It's all people playing games. And look, if I scroll down, I'm a streamer. Like, these people, look, there's a streamer. These are all streamers. It's all live streams. There's no video section. It's all live streams, really. And people playing games. There's that woman again. She's coming up quite a lot recently. I don't know how, but she's coming up a lot. And there's like women without their clothes on, licking ears and stuff in some of the weird, like, there it is, ASMR channels. And it's all these women. I'm a bit disappointed by that myself, because I used to make ASMR and I didn't take any of my clothes off or lick any ears. But really, look, scrolling down, it's people playing games. It's the gaming platform. So when I play computer games, I tend to play them on that stream there instead of like if I did it on my main stream, people would be like, "Why are you playing these games all the time?" And I did used to, and they were like, "Why am I playing these games all the time?" So I tend to do it over there, or sometimes on the B-side channel, which you're watching today. But for bigger stuff, where it's going to be like several episodes, we're going to be playing it long term. It goes over there. So that's my Twitch channel. I am Ganji Kid on Twitch. My old gamer tag. And there's no like set schedule. I tend to do it at the weekends and some weekdays like today. And Zelda's going to be on Friday. I think that's tomorrow, isn't it? So, you all good in chat?
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then whoosh.
You thought I said I'm a screamer?
Beaclet Jog sent tippies. Easy terms for doctors to help bereaved patients suffering badly like you are talking about. They can diagnose prolonged grief disorder to enable health professionals to access services needed to support patients. Meds and or therapy. Fint let diagnoses stop you getting the help. Superchuffer owes 3 hugs.
Interesting. I didn't think about that, but yeah, different diagnoses can lead to different results. So yeah, that's an interesting point. Thanks for the tippies. Yeah, I'm not a screamer. Over on Twitch, it can get very freeform. Like this is a good example. Today we're doing this episode on mental health. Yeah, so I've labelled it the mental health episode. I've done the episode. Now it exists as a video on YouTube. If I start now to talk about other stuff for the next hour, if I just stay on stream, then my episodes is like really long and really strange, and I have to cut it up into videos for anyone to understand it. So I'd rather just cut this one off in it. Like you got T-minus 5 minutes to say thanks to each other and like well done and everything, and then I'll switch over to Twitch in a half an hour and start playing games on my Twitch stream. The thing I wanted to say about that though, like on Twitch it can be much more freeform. Like sometimes these streams can go over 5 hours. Other streamers, another streamer like Asmongold, when he's in his flow, he'll get out of bed in the morning and he'll turn on his stream, you know, at 9 o'clock in the morning, and he'll do conversation, chatting, react videos, and then he'll eat his lunch, and then he'll do gameplay like all afternoon. It'll be like a 9-hour stream. It's like a full-time job. Some streamers, they like turn on their computer and they're at the computer, so it's not like they're doing this one episode of this thing. It's like they're doing their stream. And in today's stream, we're going to be playing some games, and we're going to be doing this and that.
Swish, and then
Alan
whoosh.
Vinicombe sent tippies. See, you're copying me now doing mental health. I do paintings to relax. I done 2 brown ones holding hands with more chicken than they can eat. Don't hate the poker player, hate the game. Word.
Brilliant.
Superchuffer owes 3 hugs.
Brilliant. Thanks. Yeah, so these longer term, like longer form streams, you know, if you want to take a detour or do whatever diversions, like usually with a streamer, you have a game in the background that's like their main game. For me, it's Genshin Impact. So I do a Genshin Impact stream and I turn on Genshin Impact. And I've got some things I want to do in the game, but we can also do anything else as well for as long as we want, whenever. With Zelda, I'm going to try and, you know, keep it to Zelda during Zelda streams because I'm going to upload them to YouTube as well. So it might be easier if I did that. But yeah, it's a much more sort of, you know, streamers be streaming. So on Twitch, it's gameplay and it's chit chat and it's whatever, like, and it can go sometimes does go anywhere. So Twitch is more like that. I'm a Genshin Impact streamer mainly because I've been playing that game for over a year now, but it's not like Genshin Impact took off and everyone wants to see me play Genshin Impact all the time. But I have picked up some people that are from like there's Cruel, there's someone called Juicy who doesn't come so much often anymore, but I probably still watch. There's a few people who've like, you know, joined me because of the Genshin Impact, and I love that game. So this is the final word on the depression thing. I actually found something in my life, like, you know, it was a weird combination of things. There's a song I want to play at the end, and this is probably not going to be the most, like, you know, not everyone's going to really get this if not everyone's going to really like you know, it's not about me, it's about you and your depression stories. But like, I was really fucking depressed, and like now I actually really enjoyed things. Like Genshin Impact is one of them. I take an absolute joy out of playing that game. Like I totally enjoy it. Like I don't do it for any other reason than I enjoy it. And when I was streaming, I did all these different things. Like I started out, he goes on about his streaming a lot, doesn't he? But you know, I did Mental Health Monday for a year. I'd done an ASMR channel in the past. I'd done a B-side channel in the past. But when I started streaming, I started on Twitch playing games, and on YouTube as the Super Chuffer. I was actually Ganji Kid for a bit. I did Super Chuffer. I did edits of video games and reviews of things. And I did lots of different streams. So if we go to my lives, I didn't start out doing true crime or anything. You know, I didn't even have a specific set. This is exactly what I'm going to be. I thought I was going to talk about games as artwork over on Twitch, play a few games, and also talk about stuff and see where it goes. So I had a few different irons in the fire, so to speak, a few different pies in the oven. And this has started to take off, the Super Chuffer channel. Like, if the main Twitch channel had taken off and everyone wanted to see me playing computer games all the time, I wouldn't have done so much on Super Chuffer. I'd have followed that other thing that took off. But this took off more. So I've gone, you know, from the tens to the hundreds to the thousands of views, and now we're in the like thousands. I want to go to the 10,000s and the 20,000s and the 100,000. You know, I want 100,000 subscribers. That's my target. We've gone up another 100 subscribers overnight. Like, or we've got to 7.2 overnight, I should say, but more accurately. Like, that's all going really well. So I'm really grateful. But it doesn't mean I'm stopped playing Genshin Impact on Twitch. I actually love it. So the beauty of that is that, and other games, you know, I can now actually do this without there being any commercial pressure at all on the Ganji Kid Twitch channel. It's great if you subscribe, I still get money. Brilliant, thank you. You know, if you've got Twitch Prime, you get Prime. If you've got Prime, you got a free subscription. Drop it on me. You know, but I get to do it because I just love it. So those streams are a joy for me. And to think, you know, to compare me doing something just for the joy of it for hours on the internet with how I felt some years ago, where, like, you know, I wouldn't have wanted to turn the camera on, like it, and that's, you know, in between being a hairdresser and having my salon, and before it and after it and stuff. You know, depression's a wave and it comes and goes. But you want to play Careless Whisper? I was gonna play you something else actually. I was gonna just quickly, a bit more sentimental. I don't know how this is going to come out though, because I just picked up the guitar and I'm going to try and learn it now. But there's a time when my world is filled with darkness. Because I'm not a particularly good singer or anything, but there was a time when my world was filled with darkness, darkness, darkness. Then I start streaming, now my world is filled with something, something, something. In your eyes I see the eyes of somebody I knew before, long ago. But I'm still trying to make my mind up. Am I free or am I tied up? I change shapes just to hide in this place, but I'm still an animal. Nobody knows it but me. When I sleep, here I sleep. I'm still an animal. I change shapes just to hide in this place, but I'm still a daddy boy. Nobody knows it but me. When I sleep, here I sleep. I'm still an animal. Ooh. Ooh. There was a time when my world was filled with darkness, darkness, darkness. Then I start streaming and my world is filled with something, something, something. In your eyes I see the eyes of somebody I knew before, long ago. Well, I'm still trying to make my mind up. Am I free or am I tied up? And I change shapes just to hide in this place, but I'm still an animal. Nobody knows it but me. When I sleep, here I sleep. I'm still an animal. And I change shapes just to hide in this place, but I'm still an animal. Nobody knows it but me. When I sleep, here I sleep. I'm still an animal. Ooh, 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 ooh. And you know what that is, don't you? You know what that is. Don't care about the copyright. This is going to get me binned off of the copyright. I'll have to delete it out of the episode later. But this is, like, I don't know why, but this song just fucking does it for me, mental health wise. Like, we all need a bit of a mental health booster in musical terms. I told you to listen to the songs that make you sad and have your little cry, and then put them aside and move forward. At the end of your little cry, play Bridge Over Troubled Water and have your little cry. Play First Time I Ever Saw Your Face and have your little cry. But then play something like this and get up. Not this. This is an advert for some bullshit. I don't know why this does it for me so much, this song, but it fucking does.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then whoosh.
Beaklet Jog sent tippies. If you are suffering from grief where it is life debilitating, your doctor can diagnose prolonged grief disorder, enabling DR to access services and meds not otherwise available. Don't let a name stop you getting help.
True that.
Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Big shouts out to Beaklet Jog there with the interesting super chat. Yes, Prince Andy, Friday night dinner. Yeah, we all need to find what makes us feel good, you know? Twerk meeting. I love it. Twerk meeting. Who said that? Massacre aggression. Twerk meeting. Brilliant. So I like that one. I like that one. We've all got something that gets us up. B-Clet Jog, you said your tippies aren't coming through. The last one came through 5 minutes ago. If you're suffering from grief where life debilitating, your doctor can diagnose prolonged grief disorder, enabling doctor to access services and meds not otherwise available. Is that the last one? Or is there some others? Because we've had B-Clet Jog, then Alan Vinicum, and then B-Clet Jog. If they're not, then just say it in chat. Like, but if there's something you specifically wanted to say it in chat now. Say it now. And thank you for the tippies. If they haven't come up, I don't know why. Because two of your tippies have come through. Have come up, so I need to get ready for my next stream now. What is it next on the agenda? Genshin Impact. Okay. What the fuck's this? Oh shit, it's had a hairnet inside it the whole time. Look. Look at that. Hairnet. Got my own hairnet now. Didn't know I had a free hairnet. This wig is quite the wig. Free hairnet. Why would you need a hairnet with a wig? Like, assuming you're not going to... I suppose you might already have hair. I've already got hair and I'm wearing a wig, so... I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. That's going to get me binned off for copyright, though, for sure, isn't it? They give you the option to try and mute it. Maybe it'll mute it for me. I'll have to cut it out at the end. But there's something about that track that just gets... There's loads of music, though, isn't there? I bet you've all got your favourite music that makes you feel like jumping on the treadmill. It's always nice to be able to go and let your hair down sometimes as well, isn't it? You know, I was talking earlier about things that make you feel, things that you enjoy. I was talking about films and the crying films and stuff like that. I also, you know, on a slightly different tip, I also think every now and then, I used to go a lot more, but every now and then going to a gig or a rave or a whatever and just like getting my head down on the dance floor, like that's always good for me as well. You know, Candice doesn't know how they work. What it is not on this channel. I will turn on super chats on this channel because obviously people are asking about it. But usually you've got super chats and whatever on YouTube. For us, if you tip me through coffee.com, and I think it is a PayPal thing, I get more of the cut. Like they don't take as much of a cut. With Twitch take for subscriptions, they take a bigger cut. And on Twitch, you get free Prime subs, so do your Prime subs over there. But they take a bigger cut. And like, if you want to make a tip and give me the money, then this system comes up on the screen and it reads it out. Doesn't matter which stream I'm on, it's always part of my system, so it comes up and reads it out, and then it takes less of the money, you know. And it is a PayPal thing, yeah. So if you don't feel comfortable doing that, we can do super chats on the other stream, and I'll turn on super chats on this stream now because we've had 2-3 questions about it today. But that's how it works. Is it's its own separate tippy system, so that it keeps it nice and clean for me, and I find it, you know, I find getting slightly more of the money to be more favourable. So it's a good system, I think. I saw Limmy doing it. Limmy used to do it. So, is it a Cruella wig? No, it's this chap. Because I'm going to be playing Genshin Impact in a minute, or I should be if I can ever get off this damn stream. But it's it's this chuffer. This is who it is. Obviously, now I'm looking at that picture, I'm thinking maybe. The problem is with the green screen as well. Let me knock that off. How do I knock that off? I want to go to the camera. Where's my camera? There you go. Because I've actually got like green parts in the hair like he has.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Julie Bryan sent tippies. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thanks very much. Have your 3 hugs, you chuffer. You get 3 hugs, you chuffer. So I've got like green in it. So when we do the green screen, this you don't, but it looks like him. He's Zhao, and he's one of the Adepti, which means he's like in between a god and a human or something. He's got powers. Let's just say he's got powers. Right, and he's a cool chuffer. And he's actually got a little bit on his head that sticks up, and I've got that as well, but it doesn't work so well with the headphones. It's like they put a little hairband in it there. That's my little sticking up bit. Surely when I do this on Twitch, a couple of the people that watch me for Genshin Impact that understand the game, there's one or two that watch me play the game because they understand the game. They're going to get it. They'll see who it is. Do you have to sign into PayPal to send tippies? I don't know at your end. I don't know. I think it is a PayPal system, but I don't know. I don't know if you can only use PayPal on coffee or not. Actually, I don't know. So I can't answer that. But on YouTube, you can do it off your phone. So I think that you have to go on a waiting list before. I don't think you can do it overnight automatically. But let's see if I can switch it on now for you. If you want to give me money, I should just like make it easier for you. I'm not going to be stupid. But like, no, don't you keep it. But today really has been about mental health. So if you're finding it difficult to give me money, it's okay if you just hold on to it till another time or give it to a mental health charity. That's also quite good because we're trying to do a bit of mental health bit today. So, or we have done specifically, and we're happy with it, I think. YouTube Studio here. Let me see if, because this is my B-side channel, I haven't considered the monetization aspects of it. Ways to earn, memberships, watch page, short feeds, supers, get started. Get started. Yeah, obviously I accept the terms and conditions. Well, he wants my full name. I've already done this once. Are you stupid? Company name. I have a company name. What are you on about? Stupid. I accepted it anyway. Supers. You may now earn super chat revenue by following these tips. I think you can now super chat as well. Maybe if you reload the page. So now you can do that as well. Yeah, you should be able to have super chats now. I've just turned it on. So, give me money to your heart's content. But don't stress about it. Don't stress. Unless it was like £100, in which case, sort that shit out. But there'll be time. There'll be time. There'll be time. Yeah. What are you having? You're talking about a duck. Please check Tippy's messages. I send tips, they don't come up. They've not come up. Money out of the bank. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I'll check that for you. Because it's been working today. Look. I'll reload it. Julie Bryan bought me a coffee 3 minutes ago. You bought me one 14 minutes ago. Suffering from grief. And then Alan Vinicum 22 minutes ago. And then before that, B-Clet Jog, you bought me one there. Bereaved patients. And it was £3 25 minutes ago. So that's what's coming up at my end. I'd check your end. I mean, you have had it working, look, today, twice. But I'd check your end about what's going on, because it has worked, obviously, twice, so I don't know why it would stop working. I'd just make sure to check that you're, sending it to the right person or whatever. But at my end, that's what's coming up there. So that's what I can show you. I can't help any further than that, because I don't know. If it's not come at my end, I can't. But hopefully that helps. And I appreciate it. Oh, you've got it sorted at your end. Okay, no worries. We're all good. We're all good in the hood. Yeah. going to be over there in a bit playing Genshin Impact and chilling. I want to react. There's a video about Zelda. I want to react to it, and then I'm going to upload it to the Super Chuff for You channel after. So you'll get to see the react on YouTube anyway. And I'm going to play my dailies and do a bit of questing because Zelda will kick off. And when Zelda kicks off, I'm not going to have as much time to do anything else in the world. We'll see how it goes. I look just like... In fact, I look just exactly the same as him. I don't know why there's even a question. What kind of wig is it? Look, I look exactly the same as him. If anything... I just absolutely look exactly the same as him. Powers. He's got powers. You'll see. I'll get him out later. We'll play as him later. Oh, harness. Do you know what? You just mentioned the harness. Just because you're here. The mic's up all right. It must be at your end. Since we're here, someone just mentioned the harness. I just wanted to say about this. I just had it's not in the right place here, so I should save it for a Nicola Bully episode, but I don't know when we're going to do one next. We're going to do the police at some point. I wanted to say this. Check this out about the harness, right? I tied my dog up on a harness once. My dog slipped the harness. We used to have a dog could slip the harness in the back of the car. Huh? Has your dog ever slipped a harness? Does the dog ever slip a harness? Right, what about this? Dog slip harness. It's actually a problem, isn't it? That most people would say, my dog has escaped. Escape-proof harnesses. Dog slips out of harness, how to fix. So it's quite common that dogs escape the harness. Yes or no? Yes, it is common. Because they're not designed to, restrict them in there, strap them in. They're designed to make it easier for you to walk them. So in certain situations, the dog can slip a harness, right? And what about this? What if you tied the dog up with a lead that was attached to the harness to the bench? You tied the dog up and then you fucked off, right? And then the dog pulling on it and then slips out of it. Is it possible that the harness... Well, Prince Andy's saying the harness sometimes falls off on its own. Is it possible the dog had that harness on and in its own anxiety of being left tied up to the bench or whatever, decided to get out of it and slipped it off? And is it possible that they found these things and were a bit confused? I don't know, but I just said it. So, you see, I don't really care because I don't think it's that, was the harness this and that? Like, they took it down there and they fucking dumped it there, didn't they? Nicola wasn't there, so it's irrelevant. But I'm yet to get in. We'll find out. Do you know what? I've got to say this at the end of today. Today's is a depression episode. This is if you're watching this and you've listened to depression, just turn me off now because I'm just wittering about this about this Nicola Bully case with some people in chat. But this is what I should be doing on. You bring this to my bloody Twitch streams as well. I have to talk about it forever. What was I going to say now? I was saying the harness. Dog can slip the harness. They threw it down there. Oh yeah, that was it. Like when it comes out with this inquest, yeah, I've got chocolate milk on my lips now. Have I had that all the stream? I do this. I drink the chocolate milk when I'm streaming, then it goes on my lips and I never clean it all off.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then whoosh.
Beryl sent tippies. Thanks for a good one. My dogs love listening to you. They aren't depressed though yet. Scott the dog sitter. Here's a little towards your next wig. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. Someone said I got 50 quid from Brett. Did I miss a super chat or is it because drink the chocolate milk when I'm streaming? That's me streaming though. I can't see a super chat. 50 SEK3. Oh, I see, yeah. Was it? Oh, there it is. I missed it, yeah. Brett, super chat. Fancy a ride on my magical mystery tour. Sorry. Sorry, thank you for the super chat there as well. And because I was saying that, I just missed this one now, so I'm just going to say thank you to this one. Thanks for doing Dig One. The dogs love it. Little towards the next week. Thanks. The wig man cometh. Yeah, the dog, and I was going to say this, right? If the inquest, this is our final thing now, and then we'll turn it off because I want to go on the other stream. If you want to watch other stuff with me on this stream, you're into this sort of stuff, check out our latest videos on Nicola Bully on the main channel. And also, today or yesterday, this video went back up on our channel. Check this out. This is really cool as fuck. Our channels live. This one, Angry Alan versus the Restaurant Inspector. That one got took down because of copyright. Initially, there was a copyright problem. I fought it. It might stay up. It might come down after 30 days. If the people that own the Restaurant Inspector get back after 30 days and are eggy, it might have to come down. But at the moment, it's up. So you've got 30 days before it goes away, maybe. So I'd watch that now. But that episode, Angry Alan and the Restaurant Inspector, is back up. Yes. Yes. So that's there. So it's not all, if you don't want to watch me playing games on the other channel or doing a reaction to a Zelda video, there's still loads of stuff here. But I wanted to say this finally, is that at the inquest, right, wouldn't it be good? This is like Christmas. This is what would be good for Christmas. Like, my good Christmas would be if they came out at the inquest and they said, we're determined that Nicola Bully was put in the river at a later date. She's got these signs on her of like previous struggle, be they broken bone or whatever. And at the same moment as the inquest is read out, like, I think there'll be YouTube channels trying to cover it and stuff like that. Like, I don't know exactly how I'm going to feel about it myself. I think I'm going to want to give it some time, think about it, and then say what I want to say, rather than being like, I'm outside the court gates and this is me on the news the day it happens. But I don't know. But it would be great, wouldn't it, if they said, like, inquest says this, and on the same moment Paul Ansell's getting arrested and Emma White's getting arrested, and they walk them, and you get that shot on the news of them walking them into the car with all the stuff over their heads. And then after that, we'll have weeks and months of conjecture before the trial, and then there'll be the trial, and we'll follow all the trial, and then they'll get either done. I think they'll get done, and then there'll be the appeal after that, and then we'll do the appeal as well. That'll be the way forward. I'd enjoy that. That'd be Christmas. They could arrest. I said Christmas either what the year's gone past, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I just like, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? That'd be like, dreams come true. If because everyone's calling justice for Nikki, like if the coroner, it's all in their hands, and they can't just make up a load of shit. But like, they've got that in their hands now. They could kick something right off, couldn't they? Because if let's imagine this. Let's say they came back and said it's more often, like, these injuries and this and that, it's more likely that something's happened to her. Who are the police going to go for? Where are they going to go next? What are they going to then choose? They'll be very limited on their choices, won't they? Maybe I shouldn't have talked about this at the end of the episode on depression. It's just current affairs. I told you not to listen to it, you nutters. Not you, you're not a nutter for having depression, but, Anyway, am I going to the inquest? I don't know, I did think about it. I assume it's all going to be public record, but I have thought about it. I don't know how I feel. It's up to me how I feel. I could get an Airbnb and just stay around the area. I don't know how long it's going to take. So, I don't know. Big ups everyone in chat. I'm going to get off now. I'm going to go onto the B-side stream. No, sorry, the Twitch stream. We're on the B-side stream now. I'm going to go on the Twitch stream, play games, and react to a video over there. So, I hope you've all taken something good from today. It's for a specific person, but you can all get something out of it. So, you be good, my little puckos. And remember, if you can't be good,